Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, come on in, get comfortable. I am finishing up my accountability series here. Today we're going to talk about acknowledgement and what that means for relationships. Now, I'm pretty sure you've noticed with the title, with the thumbnail, that we're going to get into this Jada and Will thing. Now, I'm not going to tackle it the same way everyone else has been talking about it, the entanglement, the infidelity. Oh, Jada took advantage of, August and Will this and all of that. I want to get to the meat of it, right? Let's get to the person who is the common denominator in this whole thing, and that's Jada, right? So I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. Most of y'all know I can be long-winded, but I am going to try and keep it short. So that being said, let's get right into it. Now with Jada started off, well, let's go back. Let me rewind this a little bit. August Alsina did an interview basically admitting that he had a years long relationship with Jada. So that information came out, and stories started circulating, and now recently Jada was just like, hey, this is Jada Pinkett Smith, for those of you who don't know. But I don't know, you have to be under a rock not to know. But anyway, Jada was like, you know what? I have the Red Table Talk show. I'm going to bring myself to the table because it's time for some healing to be done. And healing was absolutely correct. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done on all aspects of this. Now, since we're going to focus mainly on her, I'm going to dive right on in. So Jada went in and she basically stated that in her marriage, she spent, that period of time, and time before that, unhappy. She said she was very unhappy, and she had been unhappy for a while or for years. One or the other or both. Either way, she was very unhappy. Now, the thing about this was, with Jada being unhappy, of course, with unhappiness in a relationship comes, you can be bitter, there are mood swings, you can be combative, disconnected, there's a lack of intimacy. And so I'm pretty sure there was a period of time that she didn't really realize that she was unhappy. She was just going through the motions, or probably was upset and expressing. She may not even express some of her anger with Will, but of course those things do affect you when you're upset and you're holding it in, or you're trying to handle it a certain way. You do act out. I don't care how strong you want to be or how cool you want to be, it shows up when you're unhappy. And so anyway, just think, all that time where Jada stated that she was unhappy. So okay, with that, I'm pretty sure there was a time period where she just did not, know that she was unhappy or didn't recognize it. But once she finally did recognize it, did she immediately tell Will? I can guarantee you she didn't. She continued to sit in that unhappiness because she thought about her kids, thought about her family, probably figured, maybe she can make it work, or maybe she can find something to do. But the main issue was, it took her a while to own up to the unhappiness, to say, hey, I'm unhappy, which is hard for a lot of us to do. And the second thing is being able to tell your partner or significant other, husband, hey, wife, hey, I'm unhappy. And that's where she failed, because on Will's end, imagine this, he's not knowing that she's unhappy. I believe on an earlier table talk that they had maybe last year or the year before, Will talked about how he thought he was doing all this stuff to make her happy, to make the kids happy. And she said then, none of the stuff that he did made her happy, because she felt like everything he was doing was for him and not for her. But guess what? She kept her mouth shut. You have to open your mouth, right? That's that accountability thing, right? You have to acknowledge, hey, this doesn't make me happy. I'm sad. You have to acknowledge your feelings. And the only way your partner is going to be able to know what's going on is if you acknowledge it and then make them aware of it. So you are still held accountable. Jada didn't do that. She didn't, I can guarantee you, she didn't tell her husband at the time that she realized that she was unhappy, She kept that little secret to herself, and she allowed it to sit there, and it just It just got worse and worse and worse. He's looking at her and he's like, you know, I'm doing everything I can to make you happy, and you're still bitter. You still want to argue. You still, you know, feeling like this, and you want to leave, and you're doing this and you're doing that. That disconnect that was there, I'm pretty sure, drove him crazy because he was actually trying. Now, I'm not saying Will is innocent and all of this, but I'm just saying from her standpoint, you know, and his standpoint, him looking at his wife. So if you don't tell your partner you're unhappy, they're going to start making assumptions. They're going to, you know, start thinking it's this and it's that. They're going to try to fix things that may not even be the problem. So you have to let them know what is up. A closed mouth don't get fed. So moving on from that, Will is like, okay, well, I've done all of this. You're still acting like this. I'm done. I am done. I've tried everything. I'm out of here. I don't have time for this. Now, keep in mind, Will is the same man that says he believes marriage is forever. He would never divorce. But this man was so fed up with her unhappiness, her attitude, her combativeness, whatever she was spewing out from this toxic, you know, emotion she was having. He was done with it. He couldn't deal. He was like, I'm out of there. Now that's going to add on to her unhappiness, because now not only are you unhappy, but the man you promised, you know, your life to, the man who said he'll be with you forever, the man who told you that he believed marriage is forever, he is so upset with you, so disgusted with you, that he is willing to give up everything that he believes just to get away from you. That's a whole nother level of hurt. He's willing to sacrifice his family to get away from you. Again, a whole nother level of hurt. I'm done. So guess what happened? In the midst of all this going on, here comes August Alsina. This young man came in. He had health issues, and I'm sure he was broken both physically, emotionally, and mentally. And guess what? This was the perfect distraction for Jada. So of course they took him in, because you know they're great people. They have great hearts, regardless of all this relationship stuff. You know, they're not bad people. So of course, you know, they wanted to bring him in and wanted to help him. But he became Jada's project. She worked on him and worked on him and worked on him. And of course, when he came in, he was starstruck. Here's a beautiful woman, Jada. You know, someone, you know, he's probably, you know, admired, you know, his entire childhood into adulthood. And then you got Will Smith. And I'm pretty sure he looked up to him. You know, he's an action star, movie star. You know, he got a little music background, all of this stuff, right? Both sex symbols. So he's starstruck by them. So of course, whatever they do, whatever they say, he's going to go along with it. You know, he's just happy to be in their presence. And so as Jada is doing all this stuff and working her magic on him, getting him back to health and, you know, helping to build his confidence and all this other stuff, keep in mind, again, this is her project. This is distracting her from the issues with her marriage, issues within her family. Because you can't tell me that all of that wasn't affecting their children as well. It wasn't, you know, like it was a big secret within the family. I'm pretty sure they knew, they heard the fights. So it's a distraction away from her, a way for her to get away from it all. And guess what happens when we have projects? We build it up, whether we're, you know, restoring something or building something from scratch. When we get done with it, what do we like to do? We like to show it off. We like to stare at it. We're proud. We love it, right? This is our thing. This is what I made. So imagine how she looked at him when she felt like she had, you know, I built this man up from the ground, this young man, and he's attractive. And he has a singing voice or whatever August does. I don't really know. But anyway, you know, he's an artist. She loves music, so they connected there. So normally what we would do is if we have a shirt or a dress we've made, or, you know, we've done our hairstyle, we want to go show it off. So guess what? She wants to show it off. She wants to be able to enjoy the fruits of her labor, right? But the difference between our projects and hers is that it talks back to her. It says, hey, you're beautiful. Thank you for everything you've done for me. You made me feel good. Thank you. Let me repay you. So he was talking back to her. he was able to fill some of those voids that Will was once filled. Those spaces that Will once filled. Will is now absent. So August is able to fill those voids. She spent all these years unhappy and not connecting with her husband. Guess what? August is willing to do that. This is her project. She's molded him and made him into the man she wants him to be. And then, of course, he wants to impress her. So, of course, he's going to do things. He's going to go the extra mile, So, in this particular case, it was just, she was a broken woman who needed distraction. And unfortunately for August Alsina, he came in at the wrong time. He just came in at the wrong time. But this woman, she was broken. And she had nothing to offer him but heartache and pain. Nothing. And I don't even think, she would have ever, I'm not sure if she would have ever gone to him had it not been that situation. Just say, her and Will divorced and then she met him and, on set somewhere. Do I think it would have worked out like that? Probably not. But again, remember, he was her project. They spent a lot of time together, and that's just what happened. She was hurt. She needed healing. And instead of doing the work to heal herself, she went to a distraction. And guess what? Like she said on the table talk, he disappeared on her. He realized, hey, this is toxic. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck, because she was stuck. Jada was stuck. So guess what? He got stuck with her, because she wasn't healing. He was getting better. She was staying where she was. He had to go. And she said he left, didn't say anything. But she was still in her mess. Now, true enough, I'm pretty sure her, in some of this time, her and Will kind of, became cool, things settled down or whatever. And they were able to work things out. But imagine, not being able to work that out before. And now all of this damage has been done. Because it's been years now. But guess what? They're still dealing with it. All because she didn't acknowledge in the beginning that she was unhappy. Here it is. They're on Red Table Talk. And she's still dealing with it. She wasn't even able to say that I was in a relationship. She had to say entanglement. So all these years later, they're talking big shit. Like, hey, we moved on. Oh, that was so long ago. But you're still hurt by it. She couldn't even say, she couldn't call it what it was. She couldn't call a thing a thing. That's my friend B. Charmer would say. She couldn't call a thing a thing. And it was a relationship. The only thing she could say was an entanglement. But it was entangled because she was a mess and he was a mess. And they just got caught up in it together. So maybe she's right. But at the end of the day, there was healing that needed to be done. Was it done at the Red Table? No, it wasn't. But it was a process. So let the healing begin. Now, y'all, I'm going to wrap this video up. I'm going to come back to you guys with another video talking about acknowledgement, because we definitely need to dig into that. But this is just an example of how not acknowledging your issues, your problems within your relationship can create a whole new avenue of problems that can affect you years and years and years down the line. Be honest with yourself. Most importantly, be honest with yourself and your partner, and let them know what's up. I love y'all. Thank you guys so much for, taking the time to watch my video. I will see you guys later. Love you. Bye. Thank you so much for watching my video. Now, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.